I'm sorry. I apologize.
Okay, so
Means I have to behave? Oh.
very good, very good.
Start now.
Very astute on a Monday morning.
All
right. Okay, nothing from the crowd then? Okay, the first action item then, Dr. Schwenker and Tom Clements I do not see, to provide a brief summary of the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association Northeast Fly-In event.
Okay, Tom is tied up in court as a lawyer. I guess we can give him that. Because he says he's not trying to get the county money. So his comment, and I'll give his first, just is an AOPA regional convention would be a great way to promote our area, promote tourism, and make a buck at the airport. We have wide open spaces. He calculated we could park 350 aircraft safely at the airport. I think that's a stretch, but and just to comment on that, what this is the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association, which is about, the last I knew, about 400,000 members. It used to have a national meeting. The last time I went to that, it was in Hartford. And they have big displays and all that kind of stuff. And what has happened is that people weren't going to those because if you're in California, going to Hartford, Connecticut doesn't make much sense for private pilots. So they've now regionalized that, where they have a regional fly-in kind of weekend event. The most recent one in the Northeast was earlier this year in Groton, Connecticut. There was one in 2014 in Plymouth, Mass. Back, I think, in 16 in Frederick, Maryland. Beaufort, North Carolina, not South Carolina, St. Simon's Island, Tampa. This year they're Gulf Shores, Alabama, Carbondale, Illinois, Santa Fe, New Mexico, and Missoula, Montana. So it's in towns that have a tourist attraction as well as an airport that can have a bunch of people come in. So my understanding was that Ross had at least sent some stuff into AOPA, but that's as far as I know. Tom and I were at a Air Safety Foundation seminar in Albany about a month ago, and the Northeast regional guy for AOPA was there and saying he'd hope to have another fly-in in the Northeast. So whether that's 2019, 2020, kind of time frame, can't quite follow what the agenda is. AOPA's out of Frederick, Maryland. But it's certainly something we should consider in the long range. Now that's not, again, it's going to require coordination with tourism, with the FBO, with the county, and then see if they'll bite, but at least something to consider.
Doctor, what time of the year does this event occur? Is it
They're scattered.
Or is it our discretion as to when we
So
want?
next year's, the Missoula one is July 15th and 16th. Santa Fe is September 14th and 15th. Illinois is October 5th and 6th. And Alabama is October 26th, 27th. So I think there's some flexibility there. The one in Groton, Connecticut was, I think, September this year. Obviously, it was something to coordinate around lots of other things going on. Same time, something during leaf paper season.
There's no better time to get more pilots or.
I really don't know. Again, what the numbers are or what our chances are, but it seems like we're in some ways a great airport with good tourism that might be an attraction for this. Just something to consider.
And would you know the potential for the possible income Warren County could generate?
No, I had not put that together.
Okay.
Just something to put on the radar. As I said, my understanding was that Ross had at least started some of that, but obviously that's not.
Is this it?
I remember about a year ago, it was awesome. Into this first started.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, John. Though, would this be under an EDC item or?
Well, one of the criteria that the representative had said was you need a certain number of hotel rooms within a 15-mile radius. And I forget what that number is. It was a pretty good concentration. We were right on the edge of it with several Saratoga hotels. It had to be named. A lot of they were requesting like name brand hotels. People cash points in. So
We got a
That was
few
one
more
of the
coming.
criteria, but I don't know what had happened to that. So we're gonna take a look at
And-
our area.
Again, this concept of a regional fly-ins
Great.
is only the last 4 years, so
Oh, okay.
before that it was a national, once, in big places.
And it's for a couple of years out, I mean, 'cause if they haven't booked for a while, so
Yeah.
you're shooting for something maybe 2 years from now.
Yeah, I'm guessing, maybe shoot for 20, I don't...
For 20 and then they come for 2 years, is that what
No,
you're
No,
saying?
they're booked for a certain.
Oh, they're
amount of
booked,
time,
okay, I
and
see,
then
I
They
see.
look for new places to go to.
Okay.
And, so I don't know what.
So this could be a one and done?
Yeah, the way it's currently going, it's one and done, but just something to put on the radar.
Yes, John.
I don't know how you could not want this, and I do remember this being discussed a year, 2 years ago. I haven't heard anything about that since. As far as rooms nearby, of course, Exit 18 now has a brand-new Holiday Inn Express, I guess.
Yes.
They're talking about another one going up right now in 19. I
Yeah.
guess they've broken, so I don't think that's an issue anymore. If it was an issue then, you said it was on teetering. Certainly, everything I have heard, people that use this airport think it's extremely well maintained. It's a credit to the county, to show it off. I mean, you know that I have concerns about the expense on that and such, but I'm not going to deny that it isn't a beautiful spot, and it'd be nice to keep it a beautiful spot and to show it off. So I don't know why we wouldn't be pursuing this. Other than perhaps the people that we had, looking at this drop the ball yet again, who aren't here to go ahead and defend themselves because they don't see the need or whatever. We also are lacking the chairman of the facilities committee that we report to, and I don't think I've ever seen him at one of these meetings either. So, I'm getting into topic number 2 here at this point, and I'll defer on that. But, to go ahead and say about this, it seems like a great idea, and I'd love to see someone work on that and bring it in. I think it could be a candidate for occupancy tax money. They're talking about, hey, you need all the, these guys are flying in airplanes, not trailers that they're going to live in. So you will bring in occupancy tax revenue for that, and I think it would be a great idea.
Yeah, and you're forgetting the hotel on Exit 18 that is going to be built also behind the...
Another one, 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to your point, I think this has been, I know they're not here, but I think Doctor alluded to the fact that Ross already sent some...
I have no idea where that's at. Just, I know that it was mentioned that he had done something on this, but, again, this concept of the regional fly-in, if I read into the AOPA stuff, is a little bit in evolution. So, again, it's how we pursue this, whether it's more through tourism or through the FBO or through facilities, I'm not sure what the plan is.
Yeah, but I agree with you, Trevor. At first blush, this looks like a no, I mean, why would we not?
Why would we not?
Yeah. And again, I don't know what the odds are, but...
Yeah, no, I was just going to add that I did have, luckily, a copy or a draft proposal that Ross, I believe, had submitted in regards to that AOPA fly-in. I guess just a matter of who our contacts are and to see where we stand with that and then start from there. I don't know if John or, I can try to reach out to Ross again to see if he's got a contact. We can at least see where we're at and how to proceed from there. But I agree. There are some things in this proposal that we would need to reevaluate only because that we're at a max capacity for our current hangars right now, and that was part of the stipulation to have static displays in there. But we are, as you know, proposing to build 4 more corporate aircraft hangars, so that would be something obviously in the future. If we plan now, it could be perfect timing for that.
Great. Great. Oh, I thought you had your hand up, Mary.
Sorry.
Okay, anything else on this? We'll proceed then. We'll follow up with Ross and John, anything you can definitely add.
Double back.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, item 2, self-evaluation of the Airport Advisory Group to determine its effectiveness and whether to continue meeting. I personally have been to quite a few of these, and as I expressed earlier, they have been worthwhile. I think there was a lot of good stuff that came out of this. You know, government's government, though. You know, and I've known it for many years, and it's discouraging, it's frustrating. But if we don't do anything, you know, where are we going to be? So I'll take comments from the committee first before we take anything from the crowd.
Okay, again, Tom's in court. His comment was, quote, "The Airport Advisory Group should keep going. In the courtroom, judges and juries rely on expert witnesses, people who have specialized knowledge of a subject. At little or no cost to county, airport issues can be studied by knowledgeable pilots, engineers, and thoughtful citizens who can bring ideas to the county, flesh out options, and offer helpful observations about aviation." That kind of sums it up.
Yeah.
And these lawyers talk better than the rest of us. You know, I got into this a little bit late, but I think, you know, the way I look at it is an airport has a lot of moving parts. It's a very complicated interaction between things. It's not just a gas station. It's not just a runway. And aviation is in itself multifaceted between recreational pilots like myself all the way up to the airlines. And the regulations that go with that are unique and complicated. Maybe bizarre is the word, I'm not sure which. But understanding and putting that together is something that's hard to do even with knowledgeable people. You know, there's the interactions of, and I can't conceive how the county could run this or do their part of it, whoever's running what, where, how, and what's farmed out or not, without people watching what's going on in a constructive, and I emphasize it needs to be a constructive way. So I think in some form this needs to keep going. That said, people also have to listen. In other words, you can't just, you're just a pilot. What do you know about aviation? You know, I mean, or you're, you know, an engineer or your boat or whatever. But and it's a, you know, a changing environment in all of this. So I think a mechanism for input has to continue. What form that takes really depends on how facilities goes, how the county board goes, and you know, how they're willing to listen, how we can be constructive, not just, okay, we're off on the side as a committee, well, we took care of them, they can go talk to themselves. So how do we make it constructive?
Yeah. Why don't we go around the table, actually, Matt?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As far as this committee goes, I think it's a wonderful platform for for private individuals to present input to something that goes on in the county on an official level. It's credible. I think the advice that is produced for Facilities Committee here is worthwhile. Whether that turns into something, you know, that's way we want it to materialize, that, you know, we can debate that all day, but I think it's very constructive. I don't say much in here because I want this to be a platform for you guys to discuss, because I am on facilities and I speak there. And we have had many lengthy discussions during facilities on topics that we cover in here. So I can say that from my vantage point, I think it is worthwhile. I think there are results. I think there are tangible results. And I think it's worthwhile to keep this going.
John?
EDC is firmly committed to helping the county. This is a great airport, great asset, great selling point for our area, great thing that we can maximize and continue to maximize. So we'll be more than happy to. I know I'm like you. I don't speak a lot during these meetings. Technically, I'm not the most knowledgeable about the aviation, but on the bigger picture thing about the value of this being an economic driver, an economic centuries, and also for tourism and for business. It's a key piece, so we'll be more than happy to be involved with this. Ed and I will triage it, whatever we got to do to develop it. We're on board.
Travis?
Well, I think as a group, we did what we were asked to do. I think as a group, we also did what we were asked not to do, engaging in subtopics such as the extension of the runway and stuff. You know, we were told to focus on, I really thought it coincided with the proposal, the unsolicited proposal by Rich Air, you know, that we could end up saving taxpayers a lot of money. And it's probably the main reason why I'm sitting here. I think we have been constructive, though it's sometimes difficult to go ahead and say when you're being critical of something that that's somehow being constructive. I feel it is absolutely being constructive to go ahead and say you're doing something wrong. And you know that I don't hesitate to go ahead and say you're doing something wrong. And I think that's, you know, we, as the doctor indicated, there are a lot of moving pieces here. I don't think even all of us can grasp all those pieces, and then it's more difficult when you get to people that were elected for whatever reason, but not necessarily pilots or engineers or anything else. And so to take advice from pilots and engineers and taxpayers, I think is probably what people were elected to do. You know, rather than sit there and say yes or no based on what their understanding of the subject might be. So to not reach out, I think, would be, you know, not doing your duty. And I'm a little offended, actually, to see this here. I'm also offended, you know, to see how it's been treated all year long with the chairman of the facilities group not being here. I can recall a single time. The chairman of the board being here once or twice, again being absent today. You know, it kind of tells you, you know, I think what's going on. We certainly, the idea of bringing RFP to the table has been a difficult one, and you know, we've been saying that for quite a while. Recently, you know, a couple months ago, they said, let's drop back and punt, call an RFQ, ask for more input. Probably a good idea. But again, it's a longer process. To get an RFQ out there shouldn't be that tough to go ahead and say, yeah, let's ask North American, let's ask Rich Air, let's ask Rich Moore Aviation, Empire, I'm not sure who else is around here anymore, but you know, do they have any input? Yet we haven't even seen that. You know, so I have said multiple times that I think that there's just a stall on here because I think the greater majority of the board would like to see a better run airport, a tighter controlled airport as far as losses are concerned. And I don't think they'll ever be heard because we're backing right into a renewal of a contract that virtually nobody likes. And I've been saying that for many months. And so my self-evaluation of this advisory group is that you know, we've done everything we've been asked to do, and we've largely been ignored. So if the facilities committee or the chairman believes that they don't want to hear any input anymore, then that's their choice. But I don't think it's what anybody was elected to do.
A motion to adjourn. I'm sorry, Tom. Just to keep you up to snuff here, we did, Dr. Schwenker brought up the fly-in event. So the process has somewhat started already with Ross. We're going to follow up with him, and John is going to step in as well. We would like to get on the docket for 2020, somewhere in there.
2019 they're open for, isn't it?
Was it?
Oh, we're not sure. 19 or 20.
Yeah, 19 or 20.
I was just reading through this,
Yep.
I suspect it's
Either way, we're gonna jump on that, even if it's a one and done. We feel that's a special event, and we should take advantage of it. So now we are on the self-evaluations. We've gone around the room. We just have yet to hear from Stephen, then we'll hear from you. Okay? Doctor kind of filled in with one of your statements, but...
I don't have anything to add if you read my statement.
That's excellent.
I think, yeah, okay. Shut up.
Okay.
No, I was just going to add basically to what everybody else has said. I agree. I too agree that I think this committee is a valuable asset to not only the members that participate in this committee, but also the facilities committee. Basically the bottom line is the airport is a huge asset for the county, and as a private entity coming into the table in this, we definitely want to see the airport continuously grow and thrive, not only for the airport and the immediate needs for the county and any business entities there, but also the community it serves. And that's ultimately what our purpose is to help grow what we have and market it to the best of our ability. I would add that I hope that the Facilities Committee is a little bit more intuitive and a little bit more receptive to our ideas, maybe, and also use us more. There's a lot of stuff that we can hash out here and take out the majority of our time where we can then just, simply pass a yay or nay in the committee if we do have that expert opinion that's already been hashed out in these subcommittee levels. Again, I'd like to see it continue. I'm all for helping out any way we can. And but again, I do wish that the facilities would utilize us a little bit more in the sense that we are a great asset, and we certainly want to make sure that they and the community is aware of that.
Anyone else from the audience?
The thing that I think we can do better as a group is to try to get a longer-term look at this. In other words, you can save money a certain place, but then mess up for what you're going to do down the road and cost yourself more. In other words, you don't want to be Sears. Somebody's owns Sears stock, but where there's no inventory, nobody waiting on you, then they understand why there's no sales. And you need a long-term plan of where this is going over the next 10 years. And I would hope somehow this group or another part of facility or something can really focus on that.
Rachel.
Frankly, I'm really glad to hear all of these comments. I think they're very productive. The two goals that I would ask you to keep in mind for your next meeting is that we did have that 1 year mark that we were going to reset and take a look at this effectiveness. But you also have a mission statement. So perhaps it's a good time to put on your agenda for next month to revamp that mission statement, have that readopted by facility, talk about future 7 years, and talk about how you reach the goals that you wanted to reach. I think our goals were pretty simple for this year, and I'm glad it's simple in the fact that we wanted to provide that expert level advice and have that public-private partnership. But maybe now you can identify some additional goals that you want to look at as a group. It is very different than your first marketing group. It is a different type of advisory group, and I'm really happy to hear that for the most part it seems like it's been effective and will continue. And so again, these guys are all volunteers doing this, so thank you. I think it really makes for better decision making. As Travis said, the goal of any of us that have ever been elected is to listen to the public and to find those experts and be able to utilize that in our decision making process. So I would just urge you to maybe throw on that agenda the mission statement, and then again that self-evaluation. We should, I think two things we're doing today is we ask our department heads to transition plan, and that's what Matt and I have been able to do with this. We should be doing that as elected officials as well. And B, evaluation. We evaluate our department heads and our employees. It's okay to do evaluations of these groups from time to time. Same with our committees, and are they effective, and are we meeting our goals? Do they need to be changed up? And so, I think today you talked about those things, and you're headed in the right direction. Thank you for that. Thank you for thinking through this for the last year.
Yeah, and I, as you all know, I was in favor of the expansion of the runway, but I don't want to bring this up, but just from what I hear from you people, we all want to better this airport. We all think it's a growing it's a growing facility, and it's part of Warren County. But we had some visionaries way back in the 50s when they built this place. You know, who would have thought that we would have been overgrown to the point where we needed to add buildings? So, you know, you see the growth from Albany into Clifton Park into Saratoga now into us. There's really not much farther north you can go. So I think it's a worthwhile venture to keep this committee going. We are going to have a change of personnel in the next couple of months. We don't know who the new facilities chairman is going to be. You know, we've got a lot of unknowns coming up. So for the next couple of months until we get through the year, I don't mind sharing this. I have no problems with that. I think, Rachel, you brought up some good points, and again, thank you very much for spearheading this and starting it up. But we can reassess every month and see where we want to go with this. There might even be another chairman of this committee. So at this point, we do have some direction for another meeting from Supervisor Sieber. I think that we should look at the mission statement again. That's a great idea. And, you know, we do need to look at the one-year assessment. I don't know. I'm just starting this up, so excuse me for being so lame, but I just, I think I will talk with Rachel and get a better grasp on this. But for right now, what's the committee's pleasure? Do we want to meet again next month or wait until after the holidays? We'll see where Ross ends up with his...
I'm sorry, not to interrupt that, but
Yep.
you should have a draft agreement by next month. His plan to go to the facilities on November 20th, is my understanding.
Oh, it is?
Is that right, Mary?
I think so. I think that's the goal. I can't say 100%, but I think that's...
Brian, you know that?
Very well, Mary.
Okay. My understanding is George was going to try to call a special meeting. I'm not sure what happened with that, and it fell off my radar screen in the last couple
Of
weeks.
facilities?
Yeah, but he decided, so we didn't get the special meeting called to discuss the drafting. He had hoped, our last facilities committee, I had asked for that drafting agreement to get to you guys by today. He had thought he would get a special facilities meeting to review it. Ron Conover has given direction that it goes to facilities before it comes here. So there was no way for us to kind of, leapfrog over that to get it here unless we had a special meeting. And that kind of got lost in the shuffle. So it's my understanding that the facilities committee on the 20th, I believe, maybe Mary's email said that to me.
I think it got moved to the 28th. It was after the email I sent you.
Oh, it got moved to the 28th? They're full of cards. 28th, which still gives you plenty of time before your December meeting to then have the agreement. And that was something the committee wanted to take a look at and should take a look at. So I think in December you should have, and maybe Mary can keep
Well-
them on point for that to make sure that this group has that, and that can go back to the facilities. And,
Right, I would like to see what happens on the 28th first.
Yeah.
I mean, we can always call a special meeting
Yeah.
and get it in before the board meeting in December.
It would be a nice way to end the year if we could actually see documents.
Okay. Anything else to come before the advisory group? Doctor?
Tom and I, of course, got these flyers from Bennington, the marketing on their part saying, here's our maintenance, here's our flight school, even skydiving, and the FBO, which is, I think, run by the airport, even though maintenance and flight school is different. But a nice marketing tool that's somebody in our region.
Excellent. Privilege of the floor? Okay. Motion to adjourn? Supervisor McDonald, second by... Actually, we never started. Right. Rachel, school me,
Let's
Rachel.
do it. It's just an advisory group, so there's no motion,
I know.
no review minutes.
I know.